Good evening. This is Igor Gruendl, Royal Diamond Nikken Wellness Consultant, and tonight is the night of Silver is a Blast, a discussion with new silvers, and we have one new gold tonight. I'd like to introduce everybody tonight that we have on our call. We have Casey Ludwar from Williston, Vermont. Hi, Casey.
Hi.
We have Kathy Sterling from Aztec, New Mexico. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, everyone.
We have Jill Ferguson from Calgary, Alberta.
Hi, Igor.
Hi there. We have Molly Zappat from Bradenton, Florida.
Hi, Igor.
Hi there. We have Rachel Jones from Chicago.
Hey there.
Hi there. And we have Sandy Saavedra from San Francisco, California.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome. It's so great to have all of you on the call tonight, and it's a special call because all of you have gotten the silver rank in the last couple of months. Some of you even last month in December, so that is pretty awesome. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, I'd like to remind everybody, if you'd like to participate in the conversation or have any questions for us, please give us a shout on Twitter. Our username is @RoyalAlliance1. We're also monitoring Google Plus and Facebook chat. Just search for the Royal Alliance, and we'll pop right up, and then you can send us information that we can read, and then we can build that into the show this evening. The recording of this video will be available on YouTube tomorrow morning, as well as it will be posted at all of the social media platforms, so keep your eyes out on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+ for those videos. And remember to add the Royal Alliance to your Google+ circle. So you'll know when we do these events in the future, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just search the Royal Alliance, and we'll pop right up, as I mentioned. Now, it is awesome. I know that some of you, have been seasoned distributors in Nikken. Some of you may found us by coincidence, because we pop us as a Google+ Hangout, and it's of course open to everybody. And for everybody that's listening tonight, I know that we will have, some interesting stories, interesting nuggets that will help you, further explore what you're all about in life. So I just want to get started with my guests, and we want to find out, who are you? Who have I invited you tonight? And we'll just go through everybody. I'll just start out with Casey. Would you like to start? I'll go right straight to Vermont.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Casey Ludwar. I'm from Williston, Vermont, and I have been in Nikken since October of 2012. I'm the mother of 3, and it's taken me about 14 months to get to silver. Any other interesting things you want me to chat about?
So you're an at-home mother?
Well, actually, no. I have my own business too.
Okay.
So yes.
So what do you do?
I own a local jazzercise franchise. So I'm a
Excellent
fitness instructor.
Okay,
Yes.
great, wonderful.
So, no, very busy. Very late.
Well, and thank you for being on the call tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So let's go to New Mexico to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Sterling, and I live in Aztec, New Mexico. I have 2 children. They're grown. I have 3 grandchildren. They're grown, and I run a construction company. I got introduced to Nikken through Phil Offerly and Gloria, and I'm very happy to be here. I just made silver, and it was quite a step for me. I mean, I didn't really plan it, but I'm very, very happy to be here, and I intend to go further.
Well, that is awesome. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Now I'll go to Bradenton, Florida, just north, 20 minutes, 30 minutes north of where I am in Sarasota, Florida. Hi, Molly.
Hey, Igor.
Hi.
My name is Molly Zappit, and I live in Bradenton, Florida. I've had the privilege and honor of working with Igor and having him mentor me and help me on a regular basis. And I'm very fortunate I have such a phenomenal team around me to support me. We're very active down here, so it's a fabulous area to be working in. I am also a massage therapist, and I have my own business. And I have been in Nikken for a little bit over 3 years, and I went silver in October.
Excellent. Rachel in Chicago.
Hey there.
Hi there.
I'm very excited to be on the call tonight. I just went silver in December, so that's exciting. The busiest month with everybody in the holidays, so that was a wonderful present for me. I'm a teacher by practice. I am a junior high literacy teacher, so I'm around kids all day. And I have been with Nikken for about 4 years for some health issues, and then really decided to do the business and win silver, so it's a wonderful thing.
Excellent. Sandy, San Francisco.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Sandy, and I was born and raised in San Francisco. I'm a real estate agent here in the city and in the Bay Area. And I was introduced to Nikken about 10 months ago by a really good friend and have been enjoying it ever since. So I became a silver in December. And I was just so excited when I finally did it.
Wonderful. Excellent. And then, of course, we have somebody very special from Calgary, from Alberta, Calgary, Jill Ferguson, new gold.
Woohoo! Yay! Hi, Igor and everybody. Hi. Of course, as you know, I'm Jill Ferguson from Calgary, and I just went gold, 12-12-12.
Wow. Wow.
Great day.
I've been in Nikken for almost 4 years. I started in March of '09. I went silver with a year later. And I took a couple more years to go gold because I had just retired from teaching. I was a Calgary Catholic school teacher for 31 years. And I decided that once I retired from teaching, really, what was I going to do? So for me, doing Nikken just seemed like a natural fit. So I got involved with it, first of all, because I had health challenges and not thinking of doing a business at all. And then when I got the results I got, it just made perfect sense to continue on with Jim Buse and Brenda Ma and the gang. So I had great support, great mentoring, and it just seemed like the logical way to go. So that's how I got involved.
Well, that is excellent. So we can hear, that you all are coming from diverse backgrounds. If you're still working or if you're retired, it's something, that kind of fit in what you were doing anyway. Now, when we look at it, going silver is, of course, only the first stepping stone. And one of the questions that I have, well, what made you decide? I mean, most of you, I assume, looked at the products first and may have had a product experience. Maybe you would like to share, what was that product experience? And the second thing is, well, what made you take a closer look at actually the entrepreneurial side? Who would like to share?
I'll start. I actually had a product experience after my mother had a product experience. She was introduced to Nikken by Marianne Ficocello, who is our upline, along with Dave and Sarita Lamphere. And she came to me one day and said, I can move my neck after 3 years of not being able to. And I just I laughed at her. And for about 15 years, I've been struggling with a chronic back injury. So I took a power patch and I was like, well, it can't hurt to try anything else. I've done everything. And I felt immediate relief from that. And then I also have a son who is on the autism spectrum. He has a disorder. And at that time, I was very concerned about his sleep. So Marianne was generous to share a sleep system with me because at that point, he was waking up every morning between 3:30 and 6:30 And when your 5-year-old is doing that and you have 2 other little children at home who, aren't sleeping very well either, the whole house doesn't sleep very well. So we put him on the sleep system, and within a week, he was sleeping until about 6 or 6:30 in the morning. And at that time, too, he was on melatonin, and my husband and I decided to take him off the melatonin because we, saw the results of the sleep system. And, we decided to do a whole wellness home because of that. And if it was going to work for our son, it was going to work for our other 2 children. The benefits just completely outweighed, all the negatives that were happening. So, so that was our product experience. And I come from a family who has always had small businesses, so this was, a pretty easy decision for me to decide to do this as a business. And like I mentioned before, I am a Jazzercise franchisee, so I come in contact with about 300 women on pretty much a weekly basis. And after hearing, my knee hurts and my back hurts and my shoulder hurts, I was like, well, I have a really good forum to be able to share these products with people. And I think that's the one thing that I was just able to do, was just continue to share and talk about my experiences with these products and how they can go about really having an impact on somebody's, life. And I think the more people I touched and the more people I spoke to, it slowly started to catch on, which, for me, when I decided to really become a consultant and open up, it took, like I said, 14 months, and I just went silver the day before Christmas.
Well,
so it was a really
Merry
wonderful.
Christmas.
Thank you. It was a great feeling at the end, and we did a couple of other things to strategize along the way, but that's pretty much my story, and I love to share it with people, and I love to help people, and I love seeing their results when they are actually touched by the products. And then, of course, when somebody gets it about the business side and the opportunities that can create for you, especially in an economy like this when a lot of us are struggling and, going to work can be difficult sometimes. This is just another great option to have control of your own destiny, really.
So it's well worth to get 100% informed before you make a decision, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Casey.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Yeah. So, Kathy, I'd like to hear from you. What was the product experience that you had? And you're in the construction business, so that's a pretty tough business too. Now, what did you see with Niken?
Well, what I saw with Niken was Phil. Phil Offerly is actually an employee of mine. He had a heart attack, maybe some of you know it, and he got over it and had a stent put in and did not take their medicine and was using Niken anyway. But that was his story to me that got my interest, and then I say that he's my tumbleweed. He comes to work like a tumbleweed in a windstorm every morning, and he goes home in the same shape. He has unlimited energy. He's just a terrific guy. He talks about the Niken products. He talks about a lot of the books that he's read and the knowledge that he has picked up. And I have spent my life, from the time I was a little kid, I've always had an interest in medicine, or maybe you should say health, but I always had an interest along that line, and I feel like Niken is a way to help people help themselves, and it's been a real eye-opening experience, because I did not intend to go into business per se doing this, but it's just a wonderful experience, and it's working really well, and I want to put more into it, but I do have a construction company that I have to run. I've got a job that has to be finished, and so I'm taking part of my energies in that direction as well. But I do have a lot of contacts with people in this business, and I should be able to do quite well, I think.
And it's interesting that you say, you you have a construction company and you're interested in health, and you've had a lifelong interest in health. So that is something that kind of opened this opportunity for you also, and gave you a chance to see it also from a different light.
Very true. It's a real rewarding thing when you can offer something to somebody that helps them, and they in turn change their lives. They change, and you see it, and it's very, very rewarding to be in on that, to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing.
Sure.
Molly,
Yes.
what was important for you? How were you introduced, and what made the decision for you to actually go and start your business and work to silver and beyond?
Well, I was introduced to Niken through my dear friend and upline, Fei Wong. She invited me actually to a bone seminar, and I was very impressed. It was introducing the osteodents, and at the time that she invited me as a massage therapist, my business was being affected by the recession, so I was looking for a plan B. And I was also a little burned out with my massage business. So I was looking for a spark. I wanted to reignite myself. And I went to the seminar. I was very impressed. I was also facing the fact that my sister was, who is diabetic and doesn't have insurance, had been told by a doctor that she was ready to have a knee replaced. She was 50 years old at the time, and we were looking at $40,000 to $60,000 out of pocket for a knee replacement. So when I heard about the osteodents, and I heard it was all natural, I saw great potential right away, just with all the baby boomers and osteoporosis. I signed on up, and anytime I've used any of the products, I respond very quickly to them. So the insoles, I had developed a case of Achilles tendonitis, a problem with my calf, and it worked instantly. It allowed me to continue to do my job. And so I worked with the business for 3 years. I worked on developing myself, and one of the things I loved about Niken was and is the personal development that you go through, and the growth that you as an individual have to go through, the journey you have to get to where you are. And so I was just on that journey for 3 years, working on myself. And it was interesting because a lot of what I was learning about myself, I was able to tie right back into my massage business as well, because this is universal knowledge. So it worked. It was just a wonderful, wonderful journey. And then when I finally got to the point of being able to speak to people with enough confidence and commitment, that actually I think the first time I saw myself as a silver was when I sold an air system. And I was like, okay, now I can do this. And then I saw it, and then I was there. That's all it took.
Excellent. Rachel.
Hi. Yes. As a school teacher, I was around tons of germs all day long, and I had anemia and chronic fatigue. So my aunt introduced me to Niken, and I started on the nutritionals and the Pymag water. Within 3 months, I saw results and felt better. I wasn't going to the doctor's office anymore. And so I said, there's something here. So I started my family, started my friends on the products. Definitely took a little while to get to know what the possibilities were with the products. But once I found somebody who wanted to play with me and get going in the business and share this with other people, that's when I said, you know what, we're going to do it together. And did it.
Excellent. Great. Sandy.
Well, I was introduced by a friend of mine who saw me. We went to go have coffee, and I had these hand braces on my hand that the doctor had given me, some for days and also the hard ones for nighttime. He asked me what was going on, and then I told him that I thought I was getting arthritis, and I had a lot of burning in my palms and in my hands, and just I wasn't feeling well. So he started telling me a little bit about Niken. Then I said, well, I wonder if it'll help. You know, I've had migraines since I had my son 25 years ago, And I knew that every single month it was given. I was going to have a headache every month for 3 days in a row. I just knew that was going to happen. So he introduced me to Nikan, and they had a wellness event where actually Julie Tara was at. She was here in San Francisco. So I had the privilege to meet her right away, which was very exciting. So I met several of the people, and I was just very excited about it. And I thought, well, I'll give it a try. At this point, I was ready to try anything with my hands hurting and my head in pain once a month for 3 days in a row. So I started trying some of the products, and my hands no longer hurt. They didn't burn. The following month, I didn't have a headache, and I couldn't get over it. I just couldn't believe it. So after that, I was sold. I joined, and I got the sleep system. I pretty much got everything. And I think a little bit of everything helped, but I didn't just stop there. I tried the water on my plants that weren't doing so well, and they started thriving. They're huge. I tried it on my brother's dog. I tested the water alongside his regular water.
Yeah.
You know, what was funny was because they say plants, children, and animals, they don't have that placebo effect.
Right.
So I put a bowl of Nikan water next to his regular water, and he drank all of the water I gave him. I gave him more. He drank it all. Mind you, he still had his water next to him. Mm-hmm. I started walking up the stairs with the pitcher of water in my hands, and he's a Labrador, so he was behind me, and he kept hitting my elbow with his nose. So that told me right there, he knew what was good. So ever since I was sold ever since then. It took me about a month to jump in, but after all of the product experiences that I had, and my grandmother, she's 93, she got product experience from the seat, and I was sold after that.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Jill, what was your experience at the beginning, and what was your experience like going silver?
Okay. Well, when I first began with what happened with me, actually, Igor, is I went through a very difficult time in 2007, and as a result, against kicking and screaming I went, but my doctor kept giving me different pharmaceuticals, different medications, which I didn't agree with, but I was struggling, and I thought, well, you know what, she's my doctor, she knows best, so, I better listen to her, because nothing really else was working either. So I was going on like that, and it was when I was in my yoga class, my upline, Debbie Norrie, and Brenda Ma, as I mentioned earlier, were in my yoga class. And it was getting to the point that I had so many pharmaceuticals in me that when I was on the yoga, in the yoga class, I had the attention span of a gnat. And I'd be laughing, carrying on. My nerves were so jangled. And when I started getting competitive in yoga, we knew I was in trouble. So Dr. Jim goes, what an oxymoron. So anyway, as I was heading out the door, Debbie and Brenda said, I was mentioning I wanted to go see a naturopath. They said, well, you should come and see Dr. Jim. I said, who? And they said, well, you know what, he deals a lot in the naturals, and we think he could really help you. And I said, well, sure, fine. So Dr. Jim said, Jill, when you come over, I want you to bring all your pharmaceuticals that you're taking. So I went there, and we all sat there, and I'm bringing one out after another after another. Now, having these pharmaceuticals in my own cupboard is one thing, but it's another when other people are seeing me bring them out. And then I was really cognizant, Igor, of how much I was on. And so Dr. Jim was very, very classy, very good, and very professional is the word I'm looking for. And he goes, Jill, he said, well, I know what your problem is. And I go, oh, you do? And he goes, yes. He goes, you're over-medicated. And I said, oh. So over the next year, he says, well, I think we can help you. So over the next year, he worked with me week in and week out and got me off of every one of those pharmaceuticals. So I was absolutely thrilled. I got who I was back again, which was a great thing for me. So once I got through that, I also noticed that, like Molly said, I really started to really grow personally, and And I like how Mike DiMuccio put it. It's NECAN is a great personal development program with a great compensation plan.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that. And I went into NECAN, and I would say to people, I didn't go in for the money, although money does come in handy. But I knew if I couldn't be comfortable and confident and be able to talk to other people, then it didn't really matter much what else I did. So I really felt the investment in myself was really important. And that is the thrill for me, because as a school teacher, I was always swinging with a net. I taught the writing program from grades 2 to 6. I prepped kids and for provincial achievement tests. I taught the teachers how to teach the writing programs. So I had a platform everywhere I went, and I would practice my Toastmaster skills, etc., and everything. And then when I retired and went to be an entrepreneur, I was swinging without a net. I didn't have the comfort of a union or anything like that anymore. So I found this very exciting. It was really giving me an opportunity to hone my skills. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to go silver was actually, again, like someone mentioned earlier, was when Dr. Naidu was coming to Calgary, and we thought that would be a great platform to get people interested in coming. And so that was when I did some group presentations with some teachers and things. And of course, so many people are into bone health, etc., that with the few osteodance presentations that I gave, that was enough to catapult me that month to silver. Mm-hmm. So that's why. And
Dr. Naidu is the developer of the bone health product, Osteodence, and the gut health product, Lactoferrin.
Yes.
So for those that hear these names for the first time, so that you know who we're talking about.
Sure.
But you said and Dr. Jim Buse, he's a medical doctor?
Yes, he is.
So and he's a NECAN distributor?
Yes, he's Diamond.
So he's a Diamond, so he's been in it for quite some time. So he's a medical doctor that has experience in allopathic medicine, but also understands the necessity for preventative health care and natural health care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for many of you that are listening today for the first time, NECAN is a worldwide giant when it comes to wellness and wellness technologies, especially when we're dealing with all the things that are dealing with what kind of water we drink, what kind of air we breathe, how we sleep, what kind of nutrition we take to ourselves, things that we can do for aches and discomforts and the little things that bother us during the day. Now, if you look at it, what you've touched on, you know, the having a diagnosis of a doctor of being over-medicated, I find it very ironic, you know, in a country that, you know, prides itself to be one of the most beautiful and best countries in the world, yet we consume 50% of all pharmaceuticals worldwide. 50%. Now, that's not even the scary part. The scary part is that we're using 80% of the narcotic pharmaceuticals. Now, that's scary. Mm-hmm. So everybody can see how important it is. Just as a background, I was actually in the fashion business and then went into the healthcare business. I studied economics, and I knew down the line, you know, that with an aging population, that the one thing that the aging population or the baby boomers want is that they want to stay healthy as natural as they can and as long as they can.
Right.
So there is I knew that there was a great possibility in the natural health care field. And yet, I was skeptical when I looked at NECAN. I was working for an orthopedic surgeon and 2 chiropractors, and one of the things that I wanted is, of course, helping people. Now, what really interested me in this is because as a therapist, you know, people leave you and then they usually go back to their life. This was an extension where I could actually help them. And each of you had a story that actually helped people as an extension of what you were doing anyway.
Right.
Yes.
So, and I think that's the simple way of how to talk with people is, you know, like you all said, experience the product and then talk with people about the experience that you have with the product. And a lot of times people that know you they say, well, there's certain things you can do. You see, you look better, you have more energy, or like you said, your relatives or grandmothers or mothers, are all feeling better, and that is really awesome. Now, I want to go back to the part of like what happened in that month where you went silver. What happened in that month that was so different than any of the other months that you were involved? What happened? What was that pivotal point, that one point that made that decision?
For me, it was teamwork. I was helping my downline Cindy, helping her go silver as well. And so helping someone else was my main motivating factor.
Oh, so helping somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you can achieve what you want.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
I kind of had a similar story. My mom is my upline, and she went gold the same day I went silver. So
congratulations.
yeah, so that's exciting. But the thing that we did that was a little bit different is that we actually hosted a healthy child party in the beginning of December.
Okay.
And the timing of that couldn't have been better. We had an amazing turnout, and I think 40% of my sales during my silver run was a direct result of hosting that party, and just kind of thinking out of the box and inviting people who were passionate about their children and influencing, making a positive influence on other children. And we just kind of took a different approach. Instead of just talking about Nikan all the time, we took a different approach and used the Healthy Child platform. And we invited another local company who is a trusted partner of Healthy Child, Healthy World as well. And that really kind of created this amazing spiral, and the energy and the momentum that was generated in December, I basically did all my sales in that 1 month to go silver. So
can you share with us just briefly,
Sure.
How did you invite, or what did you say to invite people to come to a healthy home party? And maybe briefly touch on what is a healthy home party?
Well, we are a trusted partner of Healthy Child, Healthy World. And you can find that organization on YouTube or at nikan.com. And they are a foundation that looks into helping create environments that take the toxins out of environments, where our children are concerned. So we reached out to everybody at, my local business, all of our friends, our school communities. We went through Facebook, we talked to people personally about it, and probably invited a couple hundred people, and had about 30 come on a Saturday afternoon. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing to see everybody come together for one common cause, which is exactly, I think, why most of us are in Nikan. We have one common goal, and that's to share these products with people and to help impact people positively as we go about doing what we're supposed to do and follow the 5 pillars of health that we all believe in so much. So the Healthy Child Party is a little different than having a wellness home party, but you could certainly do the same thing, inviting people into your home too, and sharing all the Nikan products as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, Kathy, what was different in that month that you went silver to the other months before?
Well, I think it just was a combination of things. I believe in the Nikan products, and I like to see people feel better. I gave a lot of stuff to people. I made Christmas presents out of a lot of things, and I just made my home completely healthy. I've got everything I think that Nikan has, and all of it is just impeccable. The air is just so much better, so positive. The light, I had no idea how much different the light made. I've gone through my house and changed out all the light bulbs that I can at this moment, and I'm going to be changing more. I've gotten, I mean, the sleep deal is terrific. The seat, I gave one to a potential daughter-in-law or granddaughter-in-law. She works in front of a computer all day in a high-stress situation, and I said she was just eating up because she had a lot of audits going on and computers in front of her all the time, and she was just hyped up. And I said, you know, take my Nikon seat and just use it this week, see if that helps. And she said her boss came by and said, how come you're handling all this stress today? You're usually, you know, I'm freaking out. And he said, you're under control. What's going on? And she said, my boyfriend's grandmother gave me this seat to sit on, and she said it's been worth everything that you can imagine to be sitting on this seat and keep your cool and just you know, be full of energy and do your job and not wear down. So you're saying, did you make a lot of individual sales, or did you have like people come over to your home, or did you do it as a team with your upline? Is that what was different in that 1 month in December when you went silver? Well, yes, Phil and Gloria has been really supportive, and Phil has come to my house. I've opened my house up, and people came over and learned about this and was excited about it, and I pushed stuff off on them, you know, said, here, try this, you know, and everybody took it and they tried it, and everybody's coming back with a big smile on their face, and they love the socks, they love everything. I mean, no matter what you give somebody. My son-in-law was in a pretty bad motorcycle wreck almost 2 years ago, and he had a compound fracture in his arm, and other than that, he wasn't physically, well, I should say visually injured, but his pelvis was spread 3 inches, and he had 2 blown discs in his back, and he was really grumpy, and just wasn't himself. And I put 2 of the little magnets on his back at the house one day, and under protest. And a couple of days later, he said, you know, that stuff works. So then I got him insoles in his shoes, and he thought that was terrific. And I gave him a back flex, and he thought that was just even better. And now everybody is saying, gee, you've sure changed. You know, you're not depressed, and you're not grumpy, and you're your old self. And he's pretty proud of himself too. So it's just people seeing what Nikon can do for you. Right. Very impressive.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing.
Sure. You bet.
Now, I want to mention one more time, you know, for the people that have been following us, you know, if you'd like to participate in the conversation or you have any questions, please go to either Twitter, Facebook, or Google+. You can Twitter us at our username at Royal Alliance 1. And we're also monitoring the Google+ and the Facebook chat. So just search for Royal Alliance, and it'll pop right up, and you can then, of course, you know, put your questions down, and we'll be monitoring it from here. Okay, I'd like to move to the next person. That'll be Molly. What was different in the month that you went silver?
What was different probably was my focus. My focus was laser focused on the objective and on doing the tasks, the daily tasks that need to be done to get to silver. And I opened up and was reaching out to my team and my upline and my downline. I was doing 3 ways. And one thing that really helped me was being on a mastermind, being in with a mastermind group, and hearing on a weekly basis the progress and the guidance that was offered and the support that was offered, because there were a lot of doubts. I had to step into some very scary situations for me. I had to reach out to my chicken list, the people who were on my chicken list, and talk to them. And not only talk to them, but follow up with them too, which was
So how did you do that? Because I know, being in the mastermind group, we didn't cut you a lot of slack.
No, and it was great. It's what I needed. It was a nice, gentle push and reminder of the steps you needed to do, and the encouragement, though, was there.
And the team was there the whole time with you.
Right, exactly. The belief was totally there. So, and that got me through when I didn't believe in myself.
How did it come together? Did you know how it would come together, or because I think that's where I want to get to, because sometimes we're at this space, where we really don't know how it's going to get together, and yet it comes together almost like it has to.
Right. I didn't know. I mean, I had planned a couple of different scenarios so that to ensure it would come together, but I had no idea who was going to step in, who was going to be there, and but it did all come together at the end. But I knew it would. You get to that point, you don't even doubt. You just know that it will, and put that out there, and then it happens. It's amazing. But it's a fabulous journey, and it's something you have to go through to even. It's great the way Nikken has it set up to stretch you, to give you this goal that stretches you a little bit, because I don't think any one of us got to this level without having to stretch who we are personally, professionally, some of our personal skills. But you have to get there before you can even turn around to look at being gold, which is, and that's the whole idea. Silver's just a step. It's just the start of your journey. But it's wonderful the way, because once you get there, then you're a completely different person, and it's a completely different journey, your next step. So.
Right. Great, thank you. Rachel.
Yes.
You were nodding a lot. You could.
Well, I agree with her. It's a step. It's once you believe in yourself and believe that it can happen, and then it does happen, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going. Why would I stop? This is something that is catching on.
And you're now one of several of you that actually went in December. Now, isn't that a tough month?
Yeah, well, it started from convention. Convention's very, very powerful. It gets you motivated, gets you going.
Now, that was in October, right?
Yes.
So now you're in December.
Yeah.
Now, what was different? What was different that you knew?
I just didn't stop. I kept going back to people, and like Molly had said, going back to a chicken list, going back to a follow-up list, going back to helping Cindy, my other senior. It was a repetition of going through all of the steps that I knew I was going through the motions before, but it was it was hammer time.
And also you said you went with a silver, right?
She went executive that month, and we are on our way till silver this month.
Oh, excellent. So again, a sign is that you're actually not focusing on the silver as much as just going beyond. So you're actually already looking at that gold level, and we'll have Jill talk about that in just a second. So what I hear is that you continuously to build the support system around you. That you include everybody in what it is that you are trying to achieve, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, great, wonderful. Sandy.
Well, for me, it wasn't an option because I thought the world was going to end. I wanted to go out as a silver, go out with bang.
So did you finish the 21st?
I think I got it right around there, but that was my goal. I really wanted to reach silver by the end of the year, and I had a lot of help with the. By the end of the world, how to do it. But I had a lot of help from my upline, and also the people under me. My business partner also went silver about a week after I did. So it was a collective effort, and I also have to thank not only my upline, but we also call Bernadette McBurney's team in South San Francisco every Tuesday nights. We say that we're her adopted children, because she hosts every Tuesday nights. There's meeting there, and then we have our own meetings at my office, and my upline also has his meetings on Mondays. But it's just nice to know that we have help not only from our own line, but other people that belong to Nikken, which is very empowering, because you can reach out and put your hands out, and they're there for you. They're
Absolutely.
there to help. They're there to help, and that really, I think, is so powerful. That it's a whole group effort, and doesn't mean it's the person right above me. So That was very encouraging.
So what I'm hearing is that you're building something for yourself, but you're not building it alone, and you're not being left alone.
No.
Exactly.
And also what I'm hearing is that you ask for help, that you ask for people to participate, you know, in other people's events.
Yes, and what's nice that I've learned about Nikan is you don't do it by yourself. You do it with a whole group of people, and it doesn't have to be just in your line, because the people in Nikan, it's like a family. I found that it's nice that you can reach out and talk to others, and they're so open to helping each other. It's not just about me, it's about helping all of us grow.
Right. Great. Thank you. Jill, now to you. Brand new gold.
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, yay. So we hear, or what we hear is you go to silver. So now you're silver. Now what? How?
Well, I was getting tired of Dr. Jim calling me Royal Silver, so so I knew it was time to get with the program. So I'd gone silver, and then when I retired, I went to the Holy Land. That was my dream trip, and that was the following November. And it's like the 2 years of being in Nikan already just sort of clicked. It just hit home with me, and from that point on, I turned a corner. I came back. I was able to talk to people more easily. I broke away from that Lone Ranger mentality, which I had a tendency to have. I reached out to my team. My team was very supportive. I started to move forward, and then of course they changed the point system too. Like when I went silver, I don't know if probably some of you were in long enough to know that, and Igor definitely will know this, that it was quite grueling, because we had to get 20,000 points in 1 month, or 25,000 points over 3 months, and wow, it was hard. It was really hard to get that. And so a lot of times when we went silver, there used to be this collective sigh of relief from upline, downline, crossline, any line, because we dragged them all in to support us, and they did, of course, very willingly. But it was exhausting. So we took a lot more of a breather. But that being said, having gone silver, like the rest of you are saying, and I agree wholeheartedly, that was just a stepping stone. I didn't plan to be resting there quite that long, but I did, and that's okay. I really feel that you have to get your experience in somehow, and whether you get it before silver or after silver, you have to pay the price. And once you pay that price, I mean, that's an investment in your future. And so now I think a lot of us have the necessary tools, and it's a matter now of just applying those tools and catapulting forward. So taking advantage of these conventions that are coming into town, when we have these speakers come, and I really suggest getting involved. Like we have a traditional white hat ceremony that we give to people who come to Calgary for the first time. It's representative of the Stampede and the Western hospitality and everything, and I make a point of always getting involved, getting out of I don't call it my comfort zone, I call it my familiar zone, because I'm not comfortable stagnating, but sometimes it can be familiar. So forcing myself to stretch out, reach out, and then the opportunities that come as a result. I also belong to the Calgary Business Women's Networking Luncheon Group, which has been a great platform for me to meet with other women, and basically you're preaching to the choir, because they're all small business owners as well, entrepreneurs, and they're all eager to hear what you're doing. So it's plenty of opportunity to practice our skills. And I've also forced myself to do some speeches, and the last speech I did was on water. We can't promote our products, but we can do an informational segment for 10 minutes on something that pertains to your business. So I did a one on water, and that went over very well. Also, reaching out to the Nikan family across North America. I've developed some very good friendships with a group in St. Louis, Missouri, and I see them once a year. And Ravi, he's a physicist in Cleveland, Ohio, who I'm on Facebook with. He asked when I was going to be out there, so he flew out and met me in St. Louis so that he could do a wellness preview with his group, and I could come in and sort of assist with the presentation. So that was huge. And so I really love how Nikken is quite the family, and all around North America, and now even across the pond where I'm meeting other people, of course, due to social media and that. I find it very exciting and exchanging ideas, and everybody's so supportive of everybody else. So for me, silver was a touching stone, and the sky absolutely is the limit. Just it depends on what's your goal, what's your vision, and what are the steps that you're going to take to achieve it. Because once I got over the idea that I didn't have to be perfect anymore, taking risks, if you lose, you win, and if you win, you win, because it's a matter of just stepping outside of that box and making it happen. So
excellent.
That's what I would say.
Thank you very much. Now we have just a few more minutes. I just have a few questions, and I just want very short answers. So one of the questions is, the month that you went silver, or if you went over 3 months, if you won 2 or 3 months, how many people did you talk to on a daily basis? Casey?
Oh gosh. I probably don't have an exact number, but like I said, I come into contact with 300 women a week. But the month I went silver, it was pretty concentrated. I had probably, 10 solid people that were ready to go. It was just a matter of who was going to make that commitment for themselves and for their family. But like I said, after having that healthy child party where we had 30 or 40 people there, and then to continue to talk to about 10 of those after during that month, and then eventually having 3 people become seniors to help me go to silver, I would say about 10 people.
Okay,
but I touch many more throughout the day. So
right.
I talk to everybody. Don't
Excellent.
stop talking. That's the key.
Yeah. Kathy, how many people did you talk to on a daily basis?
15 to 20, I would guess. Just people that come and go, and people that I work around, and family and friends. But I haven't ventured out that far because I've been pretty tightly tied to the business, to the construction business. But that's it's easy to talk to people, and Nikken sells itself, so it's a real positive situation. It doesn't take a lot of people, in my opinion, but the more the better.
Excellent. Great. Jill, how many people did you talk to?
I don't know that I have an exact number either, but the longer I've been in Nikken, the more my personality in Nikken have become one. So it comes out quite naturally each day in conversation. So yeah. I would say, I can't give you an exact number, but I would say probably around 7 or 8 probably per day.
Excellent. Molly?
Yeah, I would say I don't have an exact number either, but I would say between like 5 and 10, but in doing follow-ups and one-on-ones and telephone calls and just speaking to people.
Yeah.
It was just constantly, it was right in front of where you were.
Great. Rachel?
I went over 3 months, and I would have to say that 3 people each day, and not only talking to them, but listening. I think that listening to people and taking notes on people each day, adding to my list was important.
Excellent. Sandy?
Yes.
I think I didn't have a specific number. I think for me it was more like seeds. You fertilize them, you water them, and then when they're really ready to hear and see that, I'm benefiting from it, then I think they just kind of take off.
Right.
Excellent. Well, we got 4 more minutes, and I would like everybody, to share some of the most important, something that you can share with other people that are just making a decision to look at Nikken, to make a decision to go silver. What would you give a new person in your organization, or what would you give somebody who is really interested in what you've achieved, what is one of the nuggets that you would like to give them? And it can also have to do with, for example, I mean, I had a lot of doubts when I was silver, and like Jill said, we had to do 20,000 points in 1 month. We didn't, in my time, we didn't even have the 3 months choice. It was 1 month period.
Oh.
But still, you know, we got things done, and oftentimes, you know, I even doubted myself in that month, you know, but there's some inner drive, you know, something that was just bigger. And something just, you know, to achieve something, to make the difference in your own life and the life of other people, that kind of drove me. What is something that you would give somebody on their way? Let's start out with Casey again.
I think since being a business owner, that the worst thing that somebody can tell you is no. And then you just, you know, you turn around and you either find another way to get them to say yes, or you just touch them gently and you continue to move on. And if you have belief in what you're doing and you have belief in the company that you're representing, that circle eventually comes back around and they have trust in you. And that's, I think, the one important thing that you need when you're building this business is somebody to trust you. So, you know, again, 2 things. Don't take no for an answer. And no is never as harsh as it seems. And then creating trust amongst the people that you're talking to. I think those are 2 main things.
Thank you. Kathy?
Well, I think my opinion is you don't really push anything on anybody. I'm in the sense that try to make a hard sale out of it. Nikon sells itself if you just demonstrate to them situations that are factual and like someone said before, that people look so different, act so different, and the connection is Nikon, and then you want to be part of it. That's the way I find it, is people want to be, they're listening, they're looking, they're hoping, and when they hear it, they bite on it. They're happy to get it.
Excellent, thank you. Jill?
Well, I look at Nikon as a sharing business. And the number 1, hands down, best piece of advice I can give anybody starting out in the business is this. Sign up, get your products, go home, use them, and get yourself a story. Because when you have a story, you can speak to other people with great passion, and it's hard to argue with passion.
Excellent, thank you. Molly?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest nuggets I got was to be congruent. Know what your intent is, and when you go in and visualize a successful outcome, and believe. If you don't believe in yourself and if you don't believe you can do this, the person you're speaking to is going to pick up on that first thing. So you have to have an inner belief that you can actually do this. Know why you're doing it. Be congruent. Be clear about your intent, and be a good listener and ask questions.
Excellent. Rachel?
I would echo being a listener, but also paying attention to what the universe is giving you. Sometimes I look at what I want, but I need to pay attention to what is around me and what is given to me and what I can work with.
Okay, excellent. Sandy?
For me, it's building relationships because I'm a people person. But not only that, someone shared with me who cared about me. So for me, it's about sharing to people I care for. And I think it's kind of a domino effect after that.
Excellent. Well, and we are coming to a conclusion of this week's Silvers of Last show. I want to thank each and every one of you. You were awesome guests to have on the show today. I want to thank Casey Ludrow from Williston, Vermont, Sandy Saavedra from San Francisco, California, Kathy Sterling from Aztec, New Mexico, Jill Ferguson in Calgary, Alberta, Molly Zappa in Bradenton, Florida, Rachel Jones in Chicago. Thank you all for being a part of this awesome show today. I hope all of the listeners and those that are watching have picked up 1 or 2 or maybe 3 things that help you further your own business and help your own personal growth, and of course to extend and help you reach your dreams. Because in the end, that is what we're all about. It is about helping people find what they truly want and help them achieve that. We're doing that, of course, with great energy products, improving the air quality, improving the water quality, improving our sleep quality, the way we eat, the way we look at life, and the way we build relationships. Because truly, if we want to make a difference, we can't do it alone. We can only do it together. And that is how we make a difference. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you very much. And please watch for the Twitter and Facebook and Google+. We're all over the social media to help you become better at what you love doing. Until next time, take care and see you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Good night.